Welcome to the Couchboard podcast, where we naively talk about anything and everything for your listening pleasure. I'm Max, and as always, I have my pals, Jordan and Colby. Hello, boys.
Howdy.
In today's
Hey guys,
episode,
what's up?
Hey, Colby.
There he is.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about camping, the great outdoors, the most amazing activity that mankind has ever created. So stick around. It's going to be a real interesting discussion. I mean, this is the first time 3 Eagle Scouts have been pulled together to discuss those topics, so you're bound to learn something new. But before we enlighten the world with all of our camping stories and knowledge, let's catch up. Let's hear what's been going on since last time we talked. Jordan, what's new with you?
Well,
And if those bunk beds aren't completed, we're going to stop recording these podcast episodes until you finish.
I have, I'm a lot further than I think you guys realize. They're nearly done, okay? And
Well, I follow us on Instagram. I've seen the pictures.
you follow us? Good.
I guess I don't follow us technically. I have the access to the Couchboard account on my phone, so I see what you post.
But yeah, the bunk beds, I didn't work on them. I'll admit it. I didn't do anything this weekend on them. But let's see. I did. So today, which is delicious as always, made some Cafe Rio pork barbacoa. Super good.
Coke,
With some
Dr. Pepper, what's the root beer?
Coke. Yep.
Coke.
Full leaded, diet, Coke Zero, cherry Coke, vanilla Coke, orange Coke.
Percocet.
Orange Coke.
Lortab.
Orange Coke.
There's like lime Coke.
Orange
too.
Coke. Wait, is it orange Coke or is it orange vanilla Coke?
I think it's orange vanilla. Good point.
Because there isn't just orange Coke, right?
Oh,
I don't think
yes,
so.
there is.
Is there really?
Is there?
Well, apparently, we'll have to check with our German followers, but someone once told me they love it in Germany, was a plain orange Coke. But you can also mix it in the little soda dispensers,
That's true.
Yeah,
You can
that's a
have
good
just
point.
orange Coke. I've tried it. It's gross.
It's always interesting, like the variations that these companies put on like their products, like throughout the world. Like Kit Kat, for example. When I was in Japan, there's like several
thousands.
varieties of different Kit Kat flavors, and some of them are actually quite good.
Wasabi.
So I can't remember which one I liked. Maybe like strawberry or something.
They've got an
but-
orange of those.
You know what wasn't great was the Big Cat. Do you remember that?
No,
It was
I
like
don't remember.
you could hardly bite into it. It was so thick. Anyway, keep going.
You didn't do anything this weekend, Jordan. You were just a bum.
I didn't. Well, my wife was away, out of town for a bit, so just me and the boys, and we just hung out. But I did. Now this has nothing related to the game, but I did watch the BYU Navy game yesterday, or half of it really. When it was a nail biter, real nail biter. But I didn't start watching it live, and so I have Hulu. With TV. Right?
Yeah, but then they force you to watch the commercials. It's torture.
Exactly. I was like, oh, it's okay. I'll just let this play a little bit, and I've got it on the DVR. No, they make you sit through 2.5 to 3 minute commercials.
Yep.
Every time, like every commercial. Look, I get it. If you're watching it live on normal TV, it would be the same thing. But if you DVR it, you're supposed to be allowed to skip through the commercials. Ridiculous.
I've literally tried like every single internet cable subscription. I've had PlayStation View, I've had YouTube TV, I've had Hulu TV, I've had the DirecTV version. I've tried them all, and they all, if I remember correctly, they all make you watch commercials. So now I spend like an extra, probably like $40 a month to have regular cable. But to me, it's worth it because there's just no fun. And like if you're watching a game on a delay and just watching those commercials, it's agony. It's torture.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I'll just watch it live, because it was probably about halfway in. And, well, actually it was. And then it hit halftime. I'm like, oh, this is lame. I don't want to watch this. So I'll just scoop back to the beginning. So I had already watched commercials when I first fired it up at halftime. And then I have to go back and start watching commercials all over again, just because I went to another section.
Right.
Ugh.
It's not a good user experience. And I can't understand. I mean, I guess there must just be enough people that are subscribed and paying their bill, because it's such a poor customer experience. You think that it would have kind of backfired. But I get that they've got to make money, but that's why it's
Yeah.
probably cheaper than traditional cable. But
Yeah.
Ugh.
You know what's sad? And, you could take away my man card if you want to. The only reason we actually got Hulu TV was so we could get access to the Bravo TV channel app on the Roku and get all of their shows because we got to watch our Below Deck. It's a fantastic show. You guys
can't
gotta
get that
watch
on like Amazon or anything.
No, because it's live like each week. They're a new episode each week. So it's the only way to do it. I was like, can I just pay Bravo like $5-10 a month? I'll do that. Like, I don't care. But no, to get the stupid Disney Channel on Roku and Bravo, gotta go through this whole.
It's a small fortune.
It is.
Yeah. I'm paying a lot for cable, and again, that was after 2 years of doing what you're doing. But yeah, it was all just came down to live sports. It's just a much better experience. But then the irony of it is COVID happened, and there really haven't been a lot of live sports to watch anyway, so I've wasted a ton of money this year, but whatever.
Yeah. That's about it. We've been watching Seinfeld and stuff, but nothing remarkable there.
Cool.
Colby.
COVID.
Well, speaking of candy bars and soda, we're gonna have to do like a candy bars and soda
that'd be
episode
fun.
because I
we might need to keep those as like 2 episodes because I feel like I could talk forever about candy bars and I could talk forever about different sodas.
Oh, totally. I almost went off on 2 really long tangents on both of those subjects already. So, good ideas for later. We've been hanging out. We folded up the pool because it's getting chilly now, so no more swimming. And big windstorm up here yesterday blew out a bunch of the power lines, and a lot of people didn't have internet when I was working today. So that was kind of intense. We're getting some winter, or I guess fall weather up here, which I'm super excited about. I'm super stoked for fall. It's my favorite season.
I think it's everyone's favorite season.
It's a good one.
It's just so good.
Well, it was never my favorite season because I grew up in southern Arizona where there is no fall.
Yeah,
so
there's no fall here.
I'm super excited to live in the northern half of the United States where I get a pretty awesome fall.
Arizona falls are nice because you can start to walk out in the morning and it's not like the same kind of summer you'd get everywhere else around the country. It's like, oh, it's 70 degrees outside instead of 90.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the sun is trying to kill you when you
at 6 a.m.
simply walk outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah, by 11 it's scorching again, but
Yeah. So I love having a real fall, and we're getting into it, which is fun. Which also means football, which I am super excited for. Also watched the BYU Navy game. Not much can be said about that game. There's really nothing. I'm looking forward to seeing a better contest later
next season.
in this season. No, there's some good ones this season. I mean, BYU won't have very many good ones, but
Western Kentucky.
yeah, there's BYU's schedule is not great, which is a bummer for us BYU fans. But there's still some good matchups in the SEC and the ACC, so that'll be good.
Yep.
What else? We recently watched Austin Land again because it's like if we had a 6-disc changer in our DVD player in our room, that would definitely be a permanent one in there.
I don't know what you're talking about. What is this?
Yeah.
You've never seen Austin Land?
I've never heard of it.
Nope. Movie?
For reals. You guys are not like joking.
No, I've never heard
it's
of
a
it.
movie.
Is it like an indie film?
Oh my gosh. Kind of. It's made by Jerusha Hess.
Oh, Jerusha Hess.
Yeah, Josh Hess's wife.
Josh Hess.
I'm still.
No, is it Josh?
I have
It's
no
not
idea what he's
Josh.
talking about.
Jared.
What? Who? Jared Hess. It's Jared Hess's wife. Yeah.
Napoleon Dynamite?
This is made by the guy who made Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, all those movies. His wife directed this one, and it's phenomenal. You need to see it. It's freaking hilarious. It's about
Everyone's talking about it.
maybe it's a Utah pop culture thing because everyone here
It
is.
probably is.
It's actually been out for forever.
Wait, so
But,
it's a movie or TV?
Yeah, it's a movie. It's about like a LARP place, like a live action role
I
play
love
where
this
you go
already.
live
This sounds amazing.
you live in like a Jane Austen world. It's all like, yeah, it's pretty great. You just have to watch it. It's amazing.
All right, I might check this out then because that's a good
Yeah.
premise.
It's pretty hilarious. It has Brett McKenzie from Flight of the Conchords in it.
And from Lord of the Rings. He's in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and The Hobbit.
No, he's in the Fellowship of the Ring.
Two Towers.
He's in the Fellowship.
For like 5 seconds.
He's also in one of the Hobbits.
I think is he in Two Towers?
I deleted.
I think it's Two Towers.
Is it the Two Towers?
Where Arwen rides away and he goes,
you're
"My
right, it's the Two
lady."
Towers.
Yeah.
My lady. Yeah, The Hobbit, that's been deleted from my memory banks. It was so
He
bad.
has a much bigger role in The Hobbit, but anyway, it's a great movie. Check out Austin Land. So it's a ton of fun. All right. That's basically what's been up with us. Not much else.
Cool. For us, well, I don't know if this is new or not new, but I think it's new. Katy Perry has a new album out. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, speaking of Legolas, speaking of giving birth to Legolas's child,
Yes.
Katy Perry. Been listening to her new album. I think it's pretty good. I really like it, so I recommend it. It's good, good, solid pop album. Kudos to Katy Perry. Let's see. We went up towards northeastern Arizona for the weekend. Escaped the heat. Felt good. Got out, did a little bit of hiking. I went to a restaurant for my first time in like 7 months. And I kind of forgot how fun it is to go to a restaurant and then like sit down and look at a menu and try and figure out what you want to eat. I haven't had that experience in a little while, so that was
It's weird.
enjoyable. Yeah, it was weird. And then
Did you have to wear a mask?
we were like kind of like out in like the middle of like nowhere, like very rural part of Arizona. And yeah, I was a little, again, I don't want to be political or judgmental, but I was a little surprised by like the lack of mask wearing by people, like especially like at Walmart where they have like a rule that you have to be wearing masks, which again, I understand that not everyone agrees with that. I happen to have a 7-month pregnant wife, so I'm like trying to take it pretty seriously and stuff, but like I felt like the people behind me in line weren't wearing it, and I think they might have been like joking with someone else that they weren't, that masks are stupid or something. I'm like which always makes you kind of worried, because it's like, yeah, if anyone's going to contract COVID, it's probably going to be you, who doesn't want to take it seriously or whatever. But and then there was another good chunk of people at Walmart that had masks on, but were wearing them underneath their chins instead of on their faces. So fun times.
It's so funny because it's like they're not comfortable. If you're not going to wear it right, why wear it at all? Like,
I don't know.
Wearing it under your chin, that's not comfortable. Wearing it just over your mouth and not your nose, also not comfortable. Just take it off.
I do kind of have more respect for the people that just aren't wearing it, because they're just like owning it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Versus the people that aren't wearing it.
I do
at
understand
all,
that, like,
or that
sometimes you forget. Like, I'll like take it off to talk to somebody and then or to eat, take a bite of food, and I'll forget to put it back on and start walking around or something. So maybe that's the case a lot of the time. I don't know.
You better not be taking it off to talk to someone, Colby.
What is this?
Not to talk to somebody, but like
Goodness.
to eat or to drive something. You know.
This is a political-free podcast, so we're gonna steer quickly away from all talk of wearing masks. And
Jordan didn't get to throw his 2 cents in on the mask topic.
I'll tell you something about masks. I don't care. I wear them where they say to wear them.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I was super close to buying the Bane mask from
Awesome.
Amazon just to wear as my mask. Yeah.
And do the voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
Do you
by
feel
my
strong now?
calculations. Cue the terrible Bane impressions. The other thing I did was I went to the movies for the first time since January. So I saw Tenet. I'm a gigantic Christopher Nolan fan, so I was extremely excited for this movie. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with it. It had gotten good reviews, and I didn't really read any of them, but I had kind of heard that the general sentiment was that the plot was hard to follow, and I was like, you people, you're just not smart enough to follow the plot of the movie. I'll be fine. Anyways, I just like the entire movie. I just kept waiting for it to click and for like the plot to make sense and understand what the heck I was watching. And that moment never really happened. It never really clicked for me. But so when I got home, I like looked up like a plot synopsis just to kind of like fill in the holes of everything that I missed. And by and large, I actually was semi happy with myself that I kind of like had followed the story pretty well. But at the same time, I mean, there's something to be said. When I was watching the movie, I didn't feel like I was following it well. I felt confused the entire time. And again, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's the main premise or concept of the movie is this thing called time inversion. I don't know if I could really eloquently explain what that is, how it works, why it works, any of that stuff. And I'm pretty sure most people can. In fact, I would probably pay someone $1,000 if they could go in and watch that movie once and really come out and recite to me in good detail what they just watched, because it is hard to follow. And not only is it hard to follow, it's really hard to hear. It is really hard to understand what people are saying. I really had a tough time like trying to, and then the script is also very strange. Like it's not like it doesn't like the lines and the way in which people communicate and talk with each other. It's not natural. It's not normal. It's just like kind of like a very odd script. So it's like, again, I think if like the script were like more natural sounding, maybe you could have like read in between the lines and picked up on stuff more, but it was just strangely written, really hard to hear.
Like the way, like the words, like were they coming up with new words for stuff happening?
No,
in the movie,
not new
or?
words. It was just like, it's just not how people talk with each other. Just like kind of like, I don't want to say like poetic, but just like kind of just like.
I feel like that kind of happens with like Grey's Anatomy a lot. Like they have like such a dense script to get through that it's just like da 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 da. Oh, da 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 da. It's like they have an instant response to like intense medical jargon, and you as the audience are like, wait, what are you saying? Like I don't know. It really started to annoy me about that. Or even if it's not about medicine, like even in the drama in their own lives, like they just ramble something off and the other person doesn't even have a chance to process it and have like a real response. And they've already formulated like an intense, really thought out response. And you're like, this isn't realistic. Like, why are they talking like this? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything like that?
This is almost like the opposite of that though. Like it's not long responses. Like, in fact, it's like the opposite. Like, it's almost like they are like understanding each other without really saying anything. And it's just like, wait, what? Like, what did you guys just talk about? What did you just agree to? Why is like
Weird.
He mad at her or she wants to do, I'm lost here. So yeah, but again, what was good about this, I don't want to make it sound like it was a terrible movie. I mean, there was some really interesting ideas. There were some really cool sequences that were very creative and well done. But all in all, I just think it was just really hard to follow. Like I think of like Inception or Interstellar. Those were kind of like very like big worlds, I think, with lots of different rules and how things. But I felt like they both of those movies invested in trying to explain like, hey, here's how it works. Here's the rules. Like here's how everything fits together. And so you can watch it one time and really pick up pretty much all of the plot. This one, I just don't feel like they really level set with you very well and just said like, hey, here's what's going on. Like it just never really made a ton of sense to me.
One of the big pet peeves I have with movies more and more as time goes on is where the effects and the soundtrack are so loud that you can't hear the dialogue. I feel like it happens way more now and it drives me insane.
Yeah,
why do they do that?
This one I would say the soundtrack definitely gets in the way. Not so much the effects, but the soundtrack. Which the soundtrack was interesting. So I didn't realize until afterwards because, Christopher Nolan and Hans Zimmer have like a very close relationship. Hans Zimmer makes like the music for all of his movies, but Hans Zimmer didn't do the music for this movie. But it almost kind of had like an Inception feel to the soundtrack with like lots of like loud, like, I don't know what the right word is, like gongs, just like really, really loud. And that's what made it hard to hear. But like, again, not spoiling anything, but there's like a sequence at the beginning of the movie where I just felt like everyone like in the theater, before you didn't understand what was going on and how confusing this movie was. Like at the beginning, there's a really cool sequence where I felt like everyone in the theater like got to like the edge of their seat because like there was just some good action and it was just really interesting and the soundtrack was perfect. unfortunately, I think the first 15 minutes of the movie are probably the best 15 minutes of the movie, and it's all downhill from there. But anyways, I give it a solid 3 stars out of 5. It was fine, but again, as far as what I kind of came to expect from Christopher Nolan, it was it left me a little bit disappointed. I was hoping for something a little bit more than what I got.
He's washed up. He's a has-been.
Well, I think
He's done.
We've had this conversation on this podcast before where it was like, I think we talked about Dunkirk and how I really enjoy that movie except for the very confusing way in which time unfolds in that movie. And it's like, come on, man. This is like a World War II movie. We don't need to be like messing with time and like manipulating like how like these events unfold. But then like you take my annoyance with that little detail and Dunkirk, and he just like went all in on just like really blowing up timelines in this next movie, and it's just confusing. But I forgot to mention that while I was watching the movie last night, they had a preview for Dune, which I didn't know that they were making a movie. And it's being directed by Denis Villeneuve. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name correctly, but he directed Arrival, he directed Blade Runner 2049, Prisoners, Sicario, some of my favorite movies. I think he's a fantastic director, and he's got an amazing cast that's starring in that movie. So I've never read the book, but I think I'm like, I might need to hurry up and read that book ASAP.
Yeah, I think they're trying to take it pretty seriously and stay pretty true to the greatness of the book.
Have you read it?
It looks good. I have not read it, no. It's on my list that maybe I'll get to one day before I die, but I don't know.
I might try and do it. I'm about to finish Red Rising, which I know some people really like those books, and I'm about to finish the first one. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to keep reading these. It feels a little too similar to Hunger Games. Like, I have a hard time with anything where it's like, in the future, mankind is being oppressed by like this tyrannical government, and there's like these different factions that all serve like different roles. So I'm just like, I've seen this a million times. Like,
there's like the Divergent ones, the Hunger Games. There's so many of
the
those.
Maze Runner, like they're all kind of like similar, and I'm just like,
Twilight.
enough with like these,
Twilight, yeah, Waterworld,
Waterworld 2.
Waterworld
I finished
3.
The Martian, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, do you like it?
It's a great book. Yeah, great book. Better than the movie,
right?
Much better than the movie. Great book. I just started Brave New World because it's only under 200 pages and I've never read it. So
I started that in high school and I never finished it. It seems like a very like dry, sarcastic kind of like book on.
He has a very flowery way of writing he uses a lot of words to say not much. So it's interesting. I'm only a couple pages in. I'm hoping to finish it before November because Rhythm of War, Brandon Sanderson, comes out. Stormlight Archive. Pretty excited.
Cool.
Anyways.
All right. Well, we've been yapping for 25 minutes, so let's go ahead and jump in to today's episode, which is about camping. So again, a little background about the three of us. As we all know, we grew up together, went through school together, and we went through Boy Scouts together, and we have been on many camping trips together. So went through Boy Scouts together, and got a lot of memories heading out into the great outdoors, enjoying nature, and fending off the elements and wild beasts of all kind, with nothing more than a pocket knife in our brains. So, let's talk about camping. So first and foremost, the question I want to ask and get your guys' opinion on is, how do we define camping? So for example, every now and then, like I talk with people like at work or something, and they'll go like, I'm going to take the RV out this weekend and go camping. I'm like, hold on. You're going to be in an RV. Doesn't sound like camping. To me, camping is like, I'm like roughing it out in like a tent or under the stars or in a hammock or something. That to me is camping. Because you're not really partaking of like these nice amenities. But I recognize I could be wrong on this, so I'm curious to see what you guys think. Like, where do you draw the line on camping?
Anytime I'm not sleeping in my bed, I'm camping.
So if you're in a hotel, that's camping.
Yeah. definitely. That is definitely camping.
Oh, I think camping involves sleeping bags. I mean,
That's a good way of putting it.
probably a differentiator. I don't know what you would call taking the RV out, RVing or something. But camping definitely usually involves a tent. You know, if it's right weather, maybe you're just under the stars in your sleeping bag. But definitely camping in and of itself is a rougher means of living. You know, you don't have the nice amenities that you normally do in your own house. Bed, kitchen, bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can like go to a cabin in the woods and still go camping, even if you're staying in a cabin. I feel like there's degrees of camping.
Nope.
Wrong.
Keep going.
There's definitely degrees of camping, but the definition of camping is anytime, I feel like it would be anytime you're going to stay somewhere where you're deliberately closer to the outdoors than you normally would be. And so like a cabin, an RV, that counts as camping. It's just, I mean, when we go camping, Bear Grylls is like, you guys are girls, but you know, it's all degrees. It's all relative.
Yeah, but Bear Grylls is different. I'd say if you're going to go stay in a cabin, you're going to go stay in a cabin. That's not camping. It's just renting a cabin.
Lodging. You're lodging.
Lodging. There you go. It's not.
You're lodging in the outdoors. Yeah. Your opinion's wrong, Colby.
You're just wrong. Just wrong. Should we take a vote?
Agree to disagree.
All right.
I could see that being a more expanded definition. But to me, camping usually involves a tent and a sleeping bag. And you don't have the ability to go inside somewhere.
Yeah, it's discomfort. That's how I think about camping.
It's grueling. It's the worst, most painful experience you could ever imagine. And that's why we do it.
If you have a slight moment of panic while going to the bathroom, you're camping.
There you go. You hear a twig break. It is interesting, though, when you are going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, because you're already like kind of like not totally all there in your mind, and then like when you're in this like dark forest, like your eyes play tricks on you, and that's a pretty tense moment. You just run out there and take care of business, and then you jump back into that tent as fast as humanly possible.
For some reason, it feels like if a bear is going to bite you, he's going to bite you like there, and you don't protect your head. You're like, you got to get everything in order first before you can take off running.
Yeah.
All righty. So when we think about camping, so obviously we did our fair share of backpacking trips. So I'm curious, what would you guys prefer to do today? Say we're going to go on a guy's trip. Would you guys just prefer to pull up somewhere, unload the car, and camp like on a campground? Would you rather saddle up with the backpack, get your gear together, and head out into the middle of nowhere and camp? Which is and again, I know I can already see it on Colby's eyes. He's going to tell me it depends. No, it doesn't depend. There's a right answer.
No. Well, I mean, it does depend because it's all about location.
All right. Now I really want him off the podcast.
It's all about destination. So if you can get to a beautiful, awesome destination by just parking on the side of the road and pulling all your stuff out, I think that's totally worth it. But if you have to hike, usually to get to like the really cool places, you have to hike. And so usually I would say you got to hike in at least a little bit to get to the really cool destinations. I also I don't know, when I go camping, I don't like being around other people. So if there's like other people camping nearby, I kind of am like grumpy about it.
Same.
So in that instance, I definitely would say at least a short hike is preferable as well.
And again, I'm not saying, it's probably coming out that I prefer backpacking, but I'm not saying normal camping isn't worth it. I'm just saying like if you were going to had your ideal setup, would you rather, and again, backpacking's not without its problems too, because you can't bring as much gear with you, and you have the risk of injury of like being, far removed from the nearest car to get you to where you need to be. So neither is without its pros and cons. Jordan, go ahead.
I was just gonna echo that like, I mean, I think I would probably prefer you just pull up, set up camp next to your cars. I mean, if you can be secluded, not next to people with your cars, that's perfect. And then throughout the day, you can venture off into nature to see whatever you want to see. I think that's probably ideal. But if you're just going to a campground where everyone else is just pulled up and set a tent up too, that just kind of gets kind of lame, because because then it's like you just went to an outdoors hotel and there's just a bunch of people hanging out, and it's just not as exciting. You're not really enjoying the outdoors anymore. It's just you happen to be sleeping in an environment where there's a bunch of other people around. So yeah, I mean, I think if you could drive up, and be alone, great, but that's kind of hard to find.
It is. That's like the hard part is, where do you go and where are you allowed to go? So,
and I would say the only reason it's nice to be able to just pull up in your cars, because then you can have like a real camping stove and actually make decent meals. Whereas if you're hiking, well then everything changes. Your food and how much you're packing in with you, it's all different.
Yep. It also would be nice to be able to hide in your car if a bear strolls through your camp.
True.
Instead of having to play dead in the open.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen a bear while camping? I've never seen one, and I feel like I've been camping a ton, and I never crossed paths with a bear.
I never have.
No, yeah, me neither.
But I know lots of people up here in Utah who have.
Yeah, I've never had that experience. And I'm pretty sure that I was a stupid kid and probably had food in my tent and everything you're not supposed to do, and never had that problem.
Yeah.
But speaking of food, let's talk about food that we like to consume while camping. So let's first talk about the preparation of said food. So again, assuming we're not backpacking for this part of the conversation, we're just going camping. Preferred methods of cooking. You like cooking over the fire? You like making some coals to cook with? Using like a cooking stove? What's your preferred weapon to cook with?
Probably just a camping stove.
Yeah.
Camping stove. I think I actually prefer like just over the fire or using those coals, because then it's like, I'm just lazy, I guess, when I camp. It's like, I'm down for just smoking some weenies over the fire, or like making like a nice foil dinner. It's just easy. And there's no dishes to clean up, like pots or pans or anything that I have to deal with.
But then you got to make a fire there, Max. That's not lazy work.
That should go into my definition of camping. There is no camping without a fire.
But you live in Arizona. Can't have fires.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll be the guy. I'll be the guy. Everybody loves a fire. Fires are great. But fires are also terrible because they make everything stink, no matter what. Everything. Your sleeping bag, your clothes, your backpack, your food. Everything smells like a campfire. And the smoke is always blowing into your face, like no matter what. No matter where you're sitting. And then you got to tend to it. You got to make sure it doesn't start a forest fire. It's just a hassle. And so, I don't know. They are fun. You can't beat roasting marshmallows, but I don't know. It's not that I'm not a fan, but they are annoying. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't feel as strongly about it as you, but I hear your point.
I agree. I think fires are worth the negatives, but I don't think you necessarily have to cook on it. And using a camping stove, part of it is I'm just not that savvy of a camp chef, so the stove is just more what I'm used to.
All good. Yeah, I don't like smelling like smoke too, especially if you're like camping for like a few days. Like it gets old just smelling like smoke, and it just feels...
You got to wash everything like 2 times at least.
Yeah. When you get home after you've been like camping for a few days, like I feel like I wash my hair like 3 or 4 times in a row to get that smoke smell out of it. It's pretty brutal stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think it totally outweighs its negatives. Like I love just like sitting there looking at the fire and talking with people. It's just, that's the best, man.
I know.
Especially when it's a little nippy outside.
It is.
You stand and put your back to it, warm up your butt and your hands. It's the best, Jordan.
Like I don't dislike fires. They're just really annoying to deal with. Like I do. There's so many of those positives. I get it. They're fun, but it's also a nuisance. But as far as cooking goes, I mean, yeah, if I'm just bringing hot dogs, sure. Cooking over the fire is perfect. But if you're doing anything like trying to put a pot of boiling something over a fire,
no, I would never do that. I would use the cooking stove if I were going there. For sure. Yeah, no. Speaking of cooking, though, any favorite foods? And I'll start because I just got to throw in a plug for the good old s'more. I think the s'more is one of like the most perfectly crafted desserts that we have invented. It is just so good.
The what?
The s'mores.
Yeah, what the heck are you saying?
Am I saying it wrong? S'more?
Yeah.
Is that what you want to say?
S'more. Not a s'more.
I feel like you're pronouncing it too clearly.
There's an apostrophe in the spelling of it, my friends.
But there's no A. There's no U. It's not S-U-M-O-R. S'more.
Whatever.
It's like s'more.
S'more.
Okay, you know what's funny? My father-in-law says schmores. like Sean Connery would say it.
S'mores.
We'll have some schmores.
Like they're the perfect.
No, I just
They're the
they
perfect.
are really good. It's like a very balanced dessert. It's got all the right things you want in it. And what we've been doing lately is rather than like using milk chocolate, do a Reese's peanut butter cup. Oh boy, it's really quite good.
I've thought about that because look, it's great. Hershey's are great, sure, but they're pretty boring chocolate.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's also difficult to find the right kind of chocolate that sits on that graham cracker.
Yep. What we'll do is we'll kind of like put the graham cracker and then like the chocolate on the graham cracker and then kind of get it close to the fire so it softens up that chocolate a little bit so it's not, it's kind of like a not melty but like on the verge of melty. Oh man. Mm-hmm. It is spectacular. But yeah, every time I have one, I'm always like, man, why don't I just make these whenever? They're so good. I can eat 1 million of them. So shout out to those guys.
We make them a lot at home. To me, it's like not worth the mess anymore. I'd rather just roast a marshmallow and eat it at this point. Especially if you're camping, because then you have the chocolate and the marshmallow all over your fingers, and you're like, great, now what do I do? You try and roast another, you get ash and dirt all over your hands, and then you're like, this is awful. It's
You're a rookie. You're an amateur.
No, there's no way to not get it all over your fingers.
Yep, it's impossible.
But if you're eating roasted marshmallows, you're going to get it all over your fingers too, especially if you catch it on fire. You got to pull it off of the stick and it's all over your fingers. I don't think
But the outside's crispy enough, and then you just use your teeth on the core.
The center is all melty,
the...
so the outside just comes off of the marshmallow, and then you're left with a gloopy, molten thing of marshmallow. I think
and then you just use your teeth.
I don't think the s'more is actually adding any more messiness to the experience. I think once you're roasting marshmallows, you're already making a mess.
Nope, because you're squishing the marshmallow in between the graham crackers. You are melting the chocolate. Mm-hmm. It's just...
I'm not melting the chocolate, though. Again, it's soft. I was very specific with my word choice there that I'm not melting the chocolate.
But still, if you touch it, you're getting chocolate on your hands.
No, I'm not touching it. It's in my graham cracker. I put it
and
on
when does
my
the graham cracker
and
ever
then
stay
I put
together?
it by the fire. Then I picked the graham cracker up, put the marshmallow on, put the other graham cracker on top. My fingers do not touch that chocolate once it gets...
But as soon as you take a bite, the graham cracker crumbles, your hand touches marshmallow and chocolate, you've got it at least on one finger, you're done.
I take some big bites. I'm able to work around it.
This will be a joy to edit, you two speaking over each other.
It's perfect.
I do love s'mores. I'm not disparaging the s'more. S'mores are great.
I don't even know why I have him on this episode anymore. He's he thinks being in a cabin is camping. He's trash talking s'mores. What else? What was his other offense on this episode? I can't remember.
I think he's trash talking s'mores, but not s'mores.
Yeah.
Right into the couchboard at gmail.com. Let us know how you make your s'mores.
And how you pronounce it.
S'mores.
I'm pretty sure.
And if you can possibly eat it without getting your hands messy.
All right. Any other favorite foods that you guys like to eat? Obviously, hot dogs are great. Foil dinners, I think, are a classic.
This isn't a regular. I mean, I'm not necessarily a hunter, but one time I did go fishing, and then we cooked up the fish we ate. That was
Sounds like fun.
And yeah, it was good. We brought them back, filleted them, and breaded them up and fried them. Tasty. Yeah. I mean, not something you do every time, but it was fun.
That does sound like fun.
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite. I like a good tinfoil dinner. I feel like that's a go-to.
Cup of noodles.
That's
not bad.
Cup of noodles, instant oatmeal.
Yeah, instant oatmeal.
Yeah.
I like a good breakfast when I'm out there, but at the same time, I also don't want to make a good breakfast. Like, if someone else is going to take the lead and prepare it for me, great. But I'm not necessarily.
I like to throw down some pancakes on a griddle. I mean, camping kind of calls for pancakes.
That and scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs, you can't go wrong.
And if you're going to do that, you might as well throw some bacon on. So,
of course,
it's a given.
Yeah.
You're having breakfast.
I also
gotta have bacon.
would like to point out that I was the pancake eating champion at I think it was our last scout camp before we all started leaving.
I don't remember this. Funny how I'm sure Jordan probably doesn't remember this either.
Up in the superstitions.
I think you're lying.
Nope. I beat out all of our scout leaders. I was the winner.
His legend is growing by the minute, Jordan, and yet no one recalls any of this.
I didn't go to Superstition.
I didn't go to Superstition Mountains either, so...
Yeah, you did.
Why you won.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
that wasn't the Superstitions. That was the White Mountains. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that when you did
the
it?
Superstitions was our backpacking trip. Yeah, it was the White Mountains. Taking dead last in the pioneering course, all that.
Did we get dead last in the pioneering course?
Yeah, I don't even think we finished.
Pioneering or orienteering? What's the right?
It was orienteering. You're right.
You call yourselves Eagle Scouts.
Orienteering's hard. It's not easy. Put that in our Instagram post. Hashtag orienteering. Let's see what kind of people we dig up with that. Email us. Why is orienteering so hard? What are we doing incorrectly?
Well, it's difficult if you don't know how to read. Then you got a real problem on your hands. But otherwise,
that was our problem.
Global warming has ruined the Earth's magnetic poles, and that's why we couldn't do it.
Everybody else in the competition was able to compensate for said poles moving.
Oh gosh. All right, moving on. I actually haven't been camping in a couple of years, and it's because I have a daughter, and I'm like, I don't really feel like wrangling a kid while I'm camping, especially with a fire, because she could totally see her slipping and tripping and doing all manner of things that I don't want her doing while I'm camping. So I'm curious, have you guys ventured into camping with your kids? Any best practices? Any recommendations? And I mean real camping, Colby, not sitting in a cabin, because there's not much advice needed there. But camping in a tent with a fire, the whole works.
Yeah. No, we've done it before. And best practices is, don't do it. Just don't do it. So, at the time we had like a 2-year-old, maybe 3, early 3-year-old, and he just did not want to do it. He was just, I don't know what it was. I don't know. We went one time and it ruined it for us, but he was just screaming the entire time when we were trying to go to bed. It's like 9:30 at night. He's still just screaming because he wasn't in his room, though he sleeps in wherever throughout the house.
Yeah, right. But, did you have like a pack and play, or did you have him on the ground?
No, his own little sleeping bag, which he'd used many times before, but nothing could console him. So we had to knock him out. Just pop. No, we didn't. We didn't do that. No.
We haven't really done. We've never done overnight camping. We'll go out and hike, and we'll go spend all day outdoors places, but we have enough trouble putting kids to bed when they have designated beds and bedtimes, and so we're like, why would we put ourselves to that? I'm also terrified. Like, I don't know how our parents did it. Like, we never started a forest fire, and I don't know how that happened, because we should have on several occasions. And so, like, my oldest thinks he's an adult and he'll do whatever he wants without asking, and he's fascinated by fire, and I'm just terrified he's gonna start an enormous fire and destroy homes. So we're gonna do it, but I'm terrified.
Yeah, I would say if there is one tip, would just be somewhere where you can be alone, so that if the kids are being noisy, it's not a big deal. That when we went, it was with there was a lot of people around, so He was
You're
just
like kind of
keeping
embarrassed. You're like, hey,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
be quiet. You're making other.
Yeah. If you could go by yourself, then they could experience it, for real on their own, and then it might not be as bad.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be good. Who knows?
Yeah, I kind of want to go. I think my daughter would really enjoy it. Like, I think she would just like be like so fascinated by like the fire and just like the outdoors and like, all the different gear and like the tent and like anything. I think she would just love it. But that we'll have to wait a little while since we've got another one on the way in 2 months now. So, but yeah, I think
Camping with newborns is great. It's great.
yeah, that sounds like torture. But hey, you're not sleeping anyways with a newborn, so you might as well be in the great outdoors and ruining everyone else's night. So let's go for it.
There you go.
All right, moving on. Favorite gear that you've come to love as you've camped over the years. So for me, actually, lately I've been rocking the good old headlamp when I go out camping. It's excellent because then you have like both your hands free. Like if you're trying to set up like a tent in the middle of the night, or if you're like cooking late in the evening, or just really anything, and then you've got both hands free. Big fan of the headlamp.
You ever see those commercials where they talk about turning into your parents?
Yeah, is that one of them?
I think you have that.
Yeah. They are excellent. What else? I don't actually have one of these, but I think next time I go camping, I want to have like a good mattress or pad to sleep on, because that's the thing I hate about camping is like, does anyone actually get a good night's sleep when they go camping? Because I feel like I wake up like every 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'm like just like constantly trying to force myself to sleep the entire night. But I feel like if I had like a pretty solid mattress, I would do okay sleeping. But maybe I'm just being optimistic.
Part of it is being tall. They don't make like good sleeping pads or like camping cots or anything that are long enough for me. So that's rough.
I have a little pad, but it's probably 2.5 inches thick or so that you blow up yourself. But it's just not enough. You need something more. And a cot, cots are definitely helpful. With a cot, the pad's fine, I'm sure. But if you try and put that kind of pad on the ground, you're feeling everything still. So yeah, something good to sleep on. Yep. That's a good tip.
Pillow. I remember I used to like not take a pillow with me as like a teenager in Boy Scouts and camping, and now I'm like, nope, I definitely want my pillow.
Must have a pillow.
It's no good. Anyways, anything else? Any other things that I'm missing as far as good stuff to have when?
Good flashlight. I mean, yeah, good flashlight's always good to have.
Yeah.
Your headlamp's good. I do like, a Camelback. Always helpful.
Yeah, Camelbacks.
I don't have a Camelback. Maybe I should get one of those.
Again, with the hands free, that's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're doing any kind of activity. It's easy. Good old Leatherman, or any sort of knife.
Yeah.
1,000,001 uses there. What else?
Yeah, an old Betsy. Your trusty old pea shooter. Yeah, whatever that may be.
And a dog.
Obviously, cooking method. A nice little camping stove is invaluable. Yep.
Got to have the double burner stove. That's always good to have.
Yeah. A hammock. Hammocks are like maybe the greatest thing ever.
I feel like last time I tried to sleep in a hammock, it was brutal though. So
you don't. Yeah, I don't know that I would sleep in it, but just to like lounge and hang out in nature, pretty unbeatable. Swinging in a hammock in the breeze.
Although there was that weekend. Well, let's just go into some of our favorite stories of camping while growing up. When we were in Havasupai, we had like the triple layer hammock set up. Like there was like 3 trees and like 6 of us boys, and we found a way to fit all our hammocks in between those 3 trees. And I remember correctly, Jordan was like above us, or maybe it was Caleb. I can't remember. I think
it was Jordan and Caleb, and Caleb had to like climb on people to get to his.
And I also remember Caleb's broke in the middle of like the night, and he came crashing down. Like you could see, there's like big holes in the hammock. There's just some real structural problems. I can't remember who he fell on, but oh man,
did he roll into the river?
No, he didn't roll into the river. He just came tumbling down. But yeah, you could hear the popping in his hammock. And one day it was just too many.
We were right there next to the river at that one.
Yeah, that was a fun. I remember we like pulled the picnic table into the river and like played cards. Like
that's
for
right.
people listening, like the river was deep enough where like you could sit in it, but it wasn't like so deep that like it completely covered like the table itself, just like the seats to the table. And so yeah, we sat in the river on a nice warm summer day, and I think if memory serves correct, the river was like somewhat shaded too, so you could just sit there and play cards in the shade and the water. So much fun. And Havasupai is a beautiful place.
I would definitely recommend hiking Havasupai. I mean, it was just beautiful. It was and you never would have thought. I had no idea that it was down there. These beautiful waterfalls and like this. I mean, it's a river, but very nice. Highly recommend it, just because you're walking through the desert for most of the time, and then it just opens up, and it's like, whoa, there's
like
water
an oasis
down here. Yeah, pretty awesome.
It is, and there's tons of falls. It's not just like one big waterfall.
Yeah.
There's like a handful of amazing, and they're all amazing.
Yeah,
I've heard it's more busy though these days than it was when we went. Gosh,
I've heard it's gotten way more touristy
that we went.
But I think you still have to have reservations and stuff.
Yeah, I just feel like they probably have found a way to funnel more people down there, so it's probably more busy.
And it's
what's that?
Significant. It's significantly cooler down there, so
way cooler.
You do kind of want to go. It's hard because you want to go, when it's warmer, but it's hard to hike the 15 miles in the.
It's like
heat.
10 miles, but it's not a fun hike in that heat. I mean, there's just. If I remember correctly, there's not a lot of shade.
No, there's not, and it's all elevation change, so it's pretty steep grade the whole way.
It's tough, but totally worth it. Totally worth the journey. Another story that I remember, it was just Jordan and me. I remember hiking. We camped up in Mount Lemmon, and it was like winter. Not hiking. We just camped up on Mount Lemmon, and got to our campground, but then Jordan and I noticed like there was like this like, we call it like a glacier, but it was like a sheet of ice going down on this hill, and so everyone else was normal and like, oh, we're just gonna camp like on the ground or on the dirt. But Jordan was like, no man, it would be so cool to camp out on that sheet of ice over there. So we went and set up our tent on the ice, and yeah, that was a again, I don't know what we were thinking, but I just remember the ground was so cold in our tent.
Was that night. Was that a Klondike camp out?
No,
it wasn't
camp. But it is interesting how more Boy Scouts don't die. They just do the dumbest things.
Yeah.
Well, and then the next morning, I remember Jordan's now wife was like doing like a church activity like a couple miles like away on Mount Lemmon. I remember like Jordan and I like went all the way down there to go see her and the friends, and we did. We made it, and
sure did.
Had he not done that, he would not have won her hand. So
that's right. She talks about it every day.
It was necessary.
That's what won her over.
That's when she knew he was the one. Because if I remember correctly, you weren't even wearing pants or anything. You were just wearing like your long johns and
Who
like
needs
a hoodie.
Pants? Just surprising that our leaders let us do that.
Well, if I remember correctly, because my dad was our scout leader, and for anyone who doesn't know my dad, he is super strict for.
That's what I'm saying. It's surprising that he let us do that.
I can't remember. Like, he must have like misunderstood, because I remember Burke was like saying something once he like heard that we left. Like, he wasn't like happy. But I felt like we totally had like permission to go. Otherwise, we'd have never done it. But there must have been some kind of miscommunication. Anyways, we went and did it, and we had a good time, and I don't regret it. Take that, Dad. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm kidding.
Oh man, that's fun. It was fun that all of our dads at some point were all leaders of ours, so we all had fun experiences hanging out with them.
I don't know if I ever got Jordan's dad as a leader, and I feel like I would have loved to have Jordan's dad as a leader. I remember him going on campouts and trips. Yeah. Like, I remember playing chess with Jordan's dad at scout camp, and I remember like we would play a game each night, and like the first 2 nights I beat him, and he is super competitive, and I feel like it sent him into a midlife crisis / oblivion.
Let's play again.
Yeah, exactly. He did beat me a few more times. I think I won the first 2 nights, and he won the next 3. But yeah.
Well, so what are some things that you guys like to do on campouts?
I used to love playing Mafia around the fire at night. That was always fun. What was that?
Was that a yay or a nay?
That was a yay. Like, it was super fun to do that. Those games got nuts though.
Yeah, they did.
It was literally just yelling at each other,
right? With just like no basis for any accusation or anything, just total craziness. But
yeah, capture the flag, always a classic.
Yeah. Capture the flag is, as an adult, there's like probably nothing I'd rather do more than just like going out and playing capture the flag.
Yeah, capture the flag's a great one. I love capture the flag. I love making lanyards. Just kidding.
Yeah, lanyards. I forgot about those. We should do it. We should do another episode just like all about Boy Scouts and like some of the ridiculous merit badges and things that you do to get that.
That's a good point.
Eagle.
Yeah. Telling stories is always a good time.
Yeah.
One of our more nerdy pursuits during camping trips was our own homebrew RPGs.
RPGs.
I forgot about
our made-up versions of Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
Those are some fun times.
They would always like start off as fun, but the problem is like whoever was like the game master didn't have a solid grasp on how to string the narrative along and keep people under, like they'd always like kind of like die out. But yeah, I remember Star Wars RPGs and getting your lightsaber, picking your color. Oh, so much fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a good guy or a bad guy? That's always like the funny thing about any kind of like morality system in like video games or anything else. It's like kind of like the appeal of like being able to choose, but every single time I end up being the good guy. I can't find it in me to be this merciless villain.
I'm the same way. The biggest pastime during camping is the fire, though, right?
Yeah.
Building the fire, maintaining the fire, playing with the fire,
building a fire in the rain.
Yeah, doing what you
got
to do.
That. We've all been camping in the rain. It happens. Camping in the rain is one of like the worst things. Yeah. I hate it.
Yeah.
And then it's like a kind of a pain because then like you have to like wrap up all your gear and then you got to let it all dry out when you get home so you don't get mildew on it. Ugh.
Yeah.
Camping in the rain. Well, any final words that you guys want to say about camping or any last minute questions or things that you guys want to discuss?
Let's go camping and record a podcast while we're camping.
That would be fun. Let's do it.
Ooh.
Around the
and you can hear the fire crackling and popping in the background.
Yeah.
And then you can hear the bear. Our first time finding a bear is when we're recording a podcast. And then we'll tell you also in the next episode how to find snipes.
Oh, man.
The snipe hunt.
Alrighty. Yeah, I remember I went on like a snipe hunt and I went through the whole thing and still I'm a very gullible person. Like I'm like probably way too trusting of a human being, and even after that entire experience, like it still never dawned on me that people were just yanking my chains and that snipes were made up. In fact, I remember like yelling at people like because they were like throwing pine cones and sticks like at trees to like make noises for the snipes, but like I clearly knew it was like them, and I was like, dude, like stop throwing things at the trees. You're gonna scare the snipes off.
That's funny.
It just never occurred to me that they were lying to me. Ugh.
Dang.
Good stuff.
Kids. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna close it down. So thanks, Jordan and Colby, for sharing your thoughts on s'mores and camping, and to all of our 9.5 million listeners out there. I just listened to our sandwich episode the other day and remembered that I made a promise at 10 million subscribers I'll wear a Speedo and post it on our Instagram. So it wouldn't be that hard to get that extra 500,000 listeners out there to get on board. So tell your friends and let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know what you think about camping, s'mores, best practices, gear, all that good stuff. You can send us an email at thecouchboard@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the major social networking sites. And of course, we're also on YouTube. And let us know if there's anything that you would like us to talk about in future episodes. Have a good one, everyone. Stay classy.
S'mores. Bye.
S'mores.
Is that how you spell rhythm?
What?
It's RHYTH.
Oh, that's it. Sorry to interrupt. We'll cut this. I'll cut it. Sorry, Max. I couldn't spell rhythm.
Oh.
Were you watching me, Colby?
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't look right. It still doesn't look right. All right, sorry,
That
Max.
looks right.